but I am thrilled to introduce our first keynote. Coming back for the second time to Nebraska. She was here in 2018 and was highly recommend to bring her on back. We have Maria Duron. She's from KLI Brands, Houston, Texas. You guys, I could read her bio and it might take 3 days. This girl has won hundreds of awards. She is a premier Google trainer, which is how we got associated with her. Because at the end of the day, our board has given us one initiative, guys. We want Google to love Nebraska businesses. We want to be the entrepreneurial hotspot of the world, and this is where it starts. We need to have Google love us. But Maria's going to give us tons of insights, so everybody give her a warm welcome from Houston, Texas!
Janelle, thank you so much. You're the one. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. And good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. It is a beautiful day, and I'm excited to be back. Like she said, I was back here at 2018, and I am one of the national Google trainers, but I'm going to share a little bit about how you can utilize and be seen by Google, but also how you're seen in the right way, because a lot of times the platforms that we've seen all across the screen here in the last video show us where we can be. But a lot of us make the mistake of putting things like just broadcasting information, not details. Have you all seen that on social, where media comes first before social? It is social first. And that's how you can stand out, because even in this day and age, when we are so high tech, the businesses that are high touch are the ones that do stand out, and that makes a big difference. So you'll see on the screen there, you can just use the QR code, or you'll use your phone and go to menti.com. You can use that code at the very top there. Let me see it right at the very top, or right there, really big, right there towards that left-hand side. Then you can participate as well. You're welcome to shout out, I'm always listening, but this is a great way that you can participate too, okay? But we are going to be talking about how you can market in those moments, because those moments that you have in social, when you've got somebody's attention, you might just have 3 to 5 seconds. On video, we know that a lot of times people tap on things, and it's just 3 seconds that you have to really engage them. If they jump off, then that's not somebody truly watching your video. We've all been on our mobile device. We're looking at something, and we tap on something we didn't intend to, and now we're trying to figure out how quickly we can get out of that. Well, that's exactly what happens often. But when you see somebody spending 10 seconds, when they've actually completed the video, that is where it's showing you that they have engaged you. And I do see that in your breakout sessions today, we're going to be talking a lot about how you can use video to help you in being able to connect with your customers. So let's go ahead and get in. And the first thing is, what are you hoping to get from today? Okay, so what is something that you want to take away from today? You are putting in a big amount of time. All right, and time is not easy to have. In fact, it's more valuable than money, right? Time is more valuable than money. We only have 86,400 seconds in any given day, no more, no less. From the kindergarten kid to the President of the United States, we only have 86,400 seconds. So what is it that you can take away from today? Because I see a lot of people here saying knowledge, networking. I'm all about networking. I love it because people still do business with people. They know, like, and trust. Okay, look at that. We see all this, having an actual plan, video. People want social media management. I've been in social media management since 2008, whenever Facebook first opened up to be able to be available to the general public. In 2009, I actually started my first Twitter chat, Brand Chat. It became one of the top 10 Twitter chats in the world, went 12 years solid every Wednesday, and is recognized as one of the worldwide Twitter chats that are actually available. And what's even more exciting is I actually serve on the Agora Pulse board of directors. So I'm excited to really be here today to talk to you about this, and I definitely know social media in the space. So we'll talk about how you can use social media, but how many of you, show of hands, use your social post on your Google Business Profile post? Because it's great to be seen in social, but not everyone uses social. Perfect. Not everyone is on TikTok. Not everyone is on Be Real. Not everyone is on Instagram, or the OG of them all, Facebook. Not everyone's there. But people do go to Google when they need to know, go, do, or buy. So are you there, and are you posting? And if you're not posting every 5 days, Google doesn't see you anymore either. So you have to be actively posting. So let's go through and talk about this. Now that you know what you're looking forward to, this is who I am, and I want to tell you that I do come from the background. 18 years ago, I started a business all on my own, okay? And when I started this business, I went through lots of hills and valleys. Opened it, closed it, opened it, closed it, opened it, closed it. And then in 2008, we created a pet product that people loved. They just loved. And it was something done out of the garage by a friend of mine. We were doing this together, and we, the first year, made $100,000 on e-commerce. That's the only way we sold, and through some veterinarians. We were really excited about that. But then what happened after that is we started to grow. We started to develop. And then even more so, understanding social media, understanding ads management, digital marketing, really knowing how email marketing works, SMS marketing, how to utilize that, how to use TikTok ads even to bring in that visibility that you're looking for. I am proud to say that we were able to build a team that's now international. We sell internationally, so not only do we sell in the United States, but in 4 countries, the UK, Canada, Australia, and of course, the USA. But what's even more exciting is last year, we finished out in $6.1 million earned in the business, and this year we're on track for 8.2. And that is all e-commerce. We have no retail sites. We do everything through e-commerce. So I've been heavily involved for about 12 years in international e-commerce. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today, but giving you some of the high points. So today we're going to be talking about marketing in moments. And when I say moments, it's those moments when you have people's attention, when they're really looking at you. And what happened is about 5 years ago, Google started looking at me because I became Texas Businesswoman of the Year, and I was honored for that by the state governor. And then from there, they asked me, would you come and talk, because you know from grassroots what it takes to be butcher maker and candlestick maker in your business and still have to grow and be chief marketer, chief analyst, and chief media buyer. So as you try to do all of this, the thing to keep in mind is what is it that you actually bring, and what are those moments when your customer needs you? Because being an expert in your customer is really what is most important. We know that people will build trust with somebody that they get to know and that they get to like. And in fact, if in social you can get that rapport building already going, what happens then is now people will lean in a little bit more just because they feel like you connect with them, you understand them. In fact, all your social posts, anything that you're putting online, should get your target audience to say, oh my gosh, they get me. That's exactly who I need to connect with. This is who has the solution. In fact, if you can voice your customers' issues and their problems and put them in words better than they can, they'll see you as the solution provider. Okay? So let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about those words, because there's a lot that we're going to be talking about today and putting together those moments. But what are 3 words that you think are important to you? Number 1 is, what's your favorite word to be known by? When you hear people today introduce you, what's that favorite word that you love them to say? You know, I love when they say, she knows digital marketing. So it's not one word, it's a phrase. You can put a phrase there. But I also like when they say, wow, you know, she's got energy, she's trustworthy, she's dependable. All right, I like those words too. But what's one favorite word? A second one is, what's a word that you know that your customers search for you with? Because a lot of people get it wrong. They think, for example, if I needed somebody to straighten my kiddo's teeth, that I'm going to go online and go into Google and say, hey Google, hey Alexa, I need a pediatric dentist. I will never use that word at all, ever. What will I say? Hey Google, I need to straighten teeth. What do I need to do? Okay? And if you're not using those words in any of your posts or any of your copy, any of your content online, you're not going to show up. And if you're not visible, then you don't exist, and people can't do business with you. You're not seen as the expert in what you do. In fact, when I say visible, here's the challenge. You need to show up in the first page of a Google search. So every search page comes up with 10 organic search results. Now, beforehand, about 4 years ago, when you saw me here, I came and I told you that it actually needed to be the first 3 pages. That has changed. 74% of us go to a mobile device first. We look at only the first page and only the first page. If you don't show up there, then you don't exist. If you don't dominate that page, you're not seen as an expert. When I say dominate, if 8 to 10 of the actual posts there aren't about you, then you're not seen as an expert in your field. Now, I'll tell you, every search result page comes with 10 organic search results. results. You, of course, have shopping ads at the very top. That's a paid position. You have text ad underneath there. That's also a paid position. But the rest are 10 organic search results, and you have to show up. So are you showing up there? When was the last time you Googled yourself? All right, so think of those 3 words. We talked about what's your favorite word to get known for. So tell me now, what is one word that you want to either be known for, or that you think people search with, or the way that you're introduced, when you hear that you're introduced, okay? And it could be a word used in your intro right now. Listen carefully today as you're meeting with people, because as you meet with people today, they will tell you whether or not they know who you are and who you serve. And here's something you will hear so often, and that is, oh, hi, this is Maria. Let her tell you what she does. She's amazing. That is a hint that they have no idea what you do or who you serve, and they're hoping you can fill in the blanks. So you have some work to do, so you have some boots on the ground and people speaking positively on your behalf. While social is great, it exponentially increases that. You still need good word of mouth, because all social is word of mouth on steroids. If somebody isn't going to say it face to face to somebody that you're good to do business with, they're surely not going to do it online. Okay? So think about that. What's some of your favorite words? How would you like people to introduce you? Keep that in mind, and we're going to go on. If you are behind on slides on your phone, just so you know, just go ahead and say, go to the slide that I've advanced to, and it'll refresh there. Okay? So of those 3 words, what struck you that really was something you need to put on your to-do list today? Remember what I said about today's a time investment. So what is it that struck you that you think, I got to do this? Put it on your to-do list. If anything today, be sure you walk out with an action to-do list, because this is not just edutainment for you. This is something to help you grow your business. But if you don't put it down on the list, you're going to forget, a phone call's going to come in, a text, and now you're going to be somewhere else, right? Attention will be elsewhere. So keep that in mind. What is it that you want to do with this? All right, so as we look at this, what struck you? If you want to put that in there, you can. What came out with the 3 words that you want to put on your action list today? This is anonymous, so don't worry, your name's not associated with it. But this is just so you can write it down to hold yourself accountable to make it happen. This is one of the things that I do as far as my success actions every single day, as I plan out every single day, and I have true to-do lists. Now, do I overwhelm my to-do list? Yes, let's be honest. My to-do list is only supposed to be, by the best trainers and the best practices, only about 5 or 6. Do I have about 30 things? Yes. In fact, I'm still on Monday's to-do list, and today is Wednesday. But I have a to-do list. At least I know a direction, and I'm not just being managed by my email inbox on what it is that I'm going to do next today. Okay? So, think of this for a moment. We know, though, that it's more than just text content. It's other content, those photos, the videos. My gosh, video is hot right now. How many of you who are using video use YouTube Shorts as well? Okay, make sure you're posting your video, your TikToks, your Instagram Reels, your Instagram Stories. Use YouTube Shorts, because think about that. YouTube is a search engine and a network. It's the #2 search engine in the world, only second to the #1 one, which is Google. Both are owned by Google, so you have to understand search in both of those. And then also, it's a social network. It's #2 only to Facebook, Instagram. That's it. TikTok doesn't even rival YouTube. Now it's fast on the rise. It's on YouTube's heels. But do know that you can be seen there, and it's evergreen. It's searchable. What's nice is it shows up, the results, on the organic search of a Google search. So those first 10 searches, that first page. Remember, our goal is to be on the first page or we don't exist. So for you, one of the things you need to know is your value. What is it that you bring to people? What makes you unique? Just like any other company, you have VPs. Even if you're a business of one, if you're a home-based business here, a freelancer, a crafter, you've got a great Etsy store, you still need to know what your VPs are, your vision, your purpose, your values, and your passion. And you need to be able to communicate that succinctly. So we'll talk about how you can do that today, and I'll help you step through that. Now, later today, when I go through Connections That Convert, I will talk to you about the 18 people that you have to have and be connected with in great relationship to grow your business. Because with that 18, you can do anything. The thousands that come, the 15,000s that love your YouTube video, those are just gravy, but these 18 will be the support that you need and the access that you need to refer you in wherever you need to go. So what is it that is your value? What is it that you want to work towards and that you want people to know you for? And what is it that makes you unique? I was speaking to the Texas Association of Realtors, so a little bit over 3,000 realtors in a room. And I asked them, okay, you're all realtors, real estate agents, you can help me, but what makes you so different that I would do business with you? And only one in that room, only one said, well, I was a school teacher for 25 years, so I understand the school district very well. I can give you a lot of hints if you're a family coming into town, wanting to know how and where to move to be in the best school area. Perfect. She had it down, she knew, while the other 29.99 in the room did not know, and they had to catch up. So for you, if I'm in there with a bunch of plumbers, if I'm in there with a bunch of candle makers, if I'm in there with a bunch of makeup providers, what is it that you do so uniquely you that I'll do business with you? So in knowing that, you need to really understand who your customer is, because your customer will help you understand when you know the experiences of your customer and what they need. You need to be an expert on your customer. And part of that is understanding that customer journey. Okay? Now, in Google, we talk about that, right? You have here in front of you, you've got awareness, you've got consideration, purchase, and advocacy. That's what Google says is the way people shop when they go online with you. It's awareness, consideration. So first they have to be aware, then they'll consider whether or not they want to do business with you, then they'll look whether or not they're going to purchase. And even though I say the word purchase, do know that I am talking about them doing something successful on your site. It could be downloading a PDF, leaving their email address, it could be watching a video. Whatever that is, so even if you're a nonprofit and you're looking for volunteers and donors, this still works. Purchase is still something I consider, or Google considers, an actual action that's successful on your site. And then advocacy. They're out there speaking positively on your behalf. They're sharing you with all their circle and their contact sphere, which means you come in at a much higher level of trust because the halo effect of somebody else who they know, like, and trust now referring you and saying, this is great business, or this is a great post, you need to learn from her. This is what you need to do. Now you'll see for you, that means you need to understand how you reach customers, okay? Who are they? Who are your best customers? I sit across from thousands of small businesses who will tell me, but Maria, I'm so excited just to get anybody's attention. I'll do business with anybody that fogs a mirror. The problem is when you focus on anybody, everybody, and somebody, you'll get their second cousin nobody. It's too much. You have to be specific. And everybody else that you do business with, even you're not targeting them in your message, anybody else is gravy. But right now, be specific. Who's that best customer? How do they engage with you? What information do they need to be able to make a good decision? How do they convert? Convert, again, is a success action on your site, just like purchase. What is it that they do or they need to be able to help them do business with you, refer your business, share you with their circle of influence, talk to you, or leave their information, whatever the success is. And then also, how do you keep them customers? Because customers, once you have them and they already know, like, and trust you, imagine if you just kept them coming back, purchasing, referring all their family members, sharing to all of their social connections across the world. Imagine if you just had that compared to you always having to go grow new business. We always know that the cost of growing new business is more expensive than anything else. Sustaining customers is important, so it's important to speak with your customers and to listen to them more than just when you want to sell them something. So when we look at this, what that means is you do need to look at how you define your customers. You see this all here. This is what's involved with the awareness and the consideration side of the business, right? This is everything here that you need. And it's about listening and learning online, which is important. It's very, very active. I was working with a social media team and I was explaining to them, they said, okay, we post to Twitter once a week or once every 4 days. I said, that's not enough. You're talking about Twitter, you should be posting at least 16 times. and also engaged and involved with Twitter chats and even going into other of the audio communities, everything there, okay? So think about that, just to get some visibility, because the Twitter feed is very, very quick. Also, what does it take for consideration? So that might be what you put on your list today. What does it take for purchase? Maybe you already are at the awareness stage. People are aware that you exist. Maybe they're already considering you, but they're not purchasing. You know, they come to your site. How many of you use your Google Analytics? Show of hands. Okay. How many of you know your bounce rate? How do you know your bounce rate? Off of all the different places you have ads, like social networks, so your Facebook bounce rate. How many of you know your customer's journey? So when they come in through Facebook, so they come through a call to action, they come in, they take a look at Google Analytics, they go to page 1, they look to page 4, they look to page 5, and now they go out, they go to Twitter, they look for a little bit more social proof, they looked at LinkedIn to your company, they're looking at social proof, so you're looking for that lift. If you're in Google Analytics, the lift that you're looking for is you're gonna go to e-commerce and down to social in the Google Analytics when you're managing it on the left side, and it will show you where they're going, or do they go to your competitors and leave your site? Do you know that journey really, really well? Because if we were a physical retail store, that's what I'd want to know. If everybody came all day long into one, or all morning long, into aisle 1 and aisle 3, and then left, and aisle 1 and aisle 3, and then left, but then they came in the afternoon and came to aisle 1 and aisle 4, and then aisle 3, and they all purchased, I'd want to know, is it the afternoon customer? Or is it the fact that there's something amazing on aisle 4 that really encourages them to purchase? That's really important. Understand in the pet industry that we're in, what we did is we realized our best customers were women ages 35 to 44 years old. We found out the best time that they shop is 2:20 in the morning. So all of our Facebook posts and ads don't even show up till 2 o'clock in the morning. Why waste it? Yes, anybody can have a dog, but why waste it? We want to get the most bang for your buck, so we have a good conversion rate is what we're looking for. So you need to look further than just the Google journey. Look at the search. Imagine somebody was a foodie and they needed a gift. You're going to go visit all these different things. You need to know where they visit. Where do they spend time? That's the heavy lifting that we do as business owners and people in marketing. It is that we have to know exactly the different ways that they take to be able to journey and find the information that they need to make a decision. So not just the journey, but the decision journey. So understanding that the story that you tell is also like a journey, because this is very important. The content that you post, while you might know exactly the flow of everything that they're doing, the content you post is so important. You cannot just blast out media. So let's talk a little bit about the story that you're telling. First of all, think of a customer that you helped with a challenging moment, or that you yourself in business had a challenging moment. If you have not opened your business yet, then you might look to friends and family who do business with your competitors and ask them. Even better yet, read your competitors' reviews. Read their reviews, because in the reviews, the people are telling them in their own words what they do so well and what they do so poorly at, and where you could fill the gap and help and serve them if you do that better. Okay. So what's something difficult or challenging that you've helped with? Think of those moments for your customers. And that's what you might want to talk about on social. Instead of just saying, hey, we've got this for $5.99, now you can focus on exactly this is what you need, because we know this is a challenging moment. One of the realtor friends that I work with, I love that, because he'll say that, listen, you are going through a divorce. One of the things you're going to run into is this. You're going to have to make decision A, B, or C. I know you've not gotten there yet, but I'm telling you it's coming. And people flock to him to do business with him because he helps them avoid pitfalls. That is how you build know, like, and trust. So think of that when you're reading your actual competitors' reviews. Then also, what's a defining moment? A moment when people just really, you see, they know, this is it. This is what I have to do. They make a decision as a customer to go to the next step, to go to the next level, and maybe it primes them perfectly for you. One of the things that I know in running also a marketing agency, so I have 3 hats. I actually have an e-commerce business, I run a marketing agency, and I'm also a national trainer for Google. So I have 3 hats, and in one of those hats, I know the defining moment is when they start reaching out and working with attorneys and accountants, because now I don't have to do all the heavy lifting of educating somebody on how important going to a professional for services is. If I have to do that, I'm going to spend a lot of time, energy, and money that I don't want to. I would much rather somebody who already knows I'm going to pay a professional, and now that's a good business for me. In fact, accountants, attorneys will also refer business to me, to our agency, because of that, okay? So, what's your defining moment? What's a funny moment even? Think of funny moments. Those are always great on social. In fact, a lot of times you'll see people lead with what we call dumb social. It'll be a meme, right? You'll see, I do that all the time on my Instagram stories. I use memes of review management all the time. Here's a funny meme, here's a meme, here's Liam Neeson saying, take down that horrible review, I will find you and I will kill you. So we have all those different memes showing up. That's the dumb information that draws them in, that gets them giggling. But then it gets them thinking now. So now you can do posts, you can do carousels that even talk about how do you read your competitors' reviews. These are the 4 steps you need to take. So you might have a carousel with 4 different slides in there. All right? So you're going all the way through really helping them in this journey, but you start with that funny moment. Or what's an adventurous moment? What's a moment that you're just thinking, oh my goodness, we're going to try to do this, and then all of a sudden you're trying to launch this. Or maybe your customer had an adventure that is really harrowing for them. It's funny, again, talking, because I just spoke recently to a real estate group, so that's what's top of mind for me. But so I live in a very rural area, and she went out to go sell a house, or actually it was a ranch, more of a ranch, and she got there, and as soon as they drove up and opened the front gate, a horse ran out. So she's over there with her heels, and she's known for her 3.5-inch heels, and she's over there going, horsey, horsey, and that's not getting her anywhere. And so now she's running in her high heels everywhere, all across the grass, just trying to catch this horse. But because of that adventurous moment, you know how many ranchers do business with her? But she talks about how she talked to the horse, and she corralled, and she called in her resources, and even her boys came, and they brought their trucks out, and they were able to help bring this horse in so that customer didn't lose their horse. But she cared about that so much. So what is it that's an adventurous or a funny moment that you've been involved in? Now, what lessons were learned from those moments? What is it that you have? Remember what I said, when you can articulate exactly what somebody needs, the pitfalls that they're going to have, when you can articulate that solution, they will see you as an expert in what you do. And they will step over dollars to do business with somebody that they know, like, and trust. And you are seen as that advocate or that trusted advisor. So how many stories, in just listening to that, did you uncover? Just there, thinking about those things. How many? Because I see some people, I get the benefit of being at the front here of the room, so I see people giggle and go, yeah, that's a funny moment, or, oh no, that was a moment in my... I see, and you can, even some people whispering to their seatmate next to them, their table mate, being able to share the story. So there's some stories you've uncovered just from that, and those stories you can share on social. Now for me, we recently, in fact just Saturday, my mother-in-law passed away and we had a funeral. So our whole family was at a funeral on Saturday. And we were leaving. I have 3 boys. So yes, I'm the mama of 3 boys, which is my biggest role that I ever play, because that's one that keeps me super active. But we left, and my husband comes from a very, very small town, much smaller than where we even live. And he's used to just keeping his pickup truck door unlocked. He leaves the garage door open, the fence is unlocked, the front door. He's just very, very trusting. He grew up that way. His graduating class, I think, was 11 people. His whole high school was 111, maybe. So he came from a small town. I'm a military brat. I've lived all over the world as a military brat. So I am very diligent and regimented, and I have to check the perimeter, and I have to lock everything, and I have to check the windows, and the doors have to be locked, and the alarm has to be on, and everything. So I was being diligent when we left, because my husband left earlier, since this was his mama, and I was leaving with the boys, so I went ahead and put a lock on the gate, and I closed the lock on the gate. The problem is, when we came home at 4 o'clock Monday morning, I didn't have a key to that lock. No one had a key to that lock. And we had to get the doggos in. We had to do all sorts of things. So there's my loving husband, who has just driven and gone back and forth, because it's about 8 hours from where his mama was. And so we went ahead, and he had to go in there and actually unscrew the little hinges and the lock so that we could get in and open the gate, right? So a lot of times for you, you know your story, but the thing is we lock ourselves out of the very thing that we own. We own that house. It's our home. It's been our home for 25 years. And so now you have the chance, just with those moments that I was telling you, to unlock that story. But a lot of times you don't unlock it for your customers and tell it in that way just because you either have an ineffective strategy or you have limiting beliefs that are keeping you from being able to tell that story. So I just told you a story about what happened, and this truly just did happen Saturday and Monday at 4 o'clock in the morning. So it wasn't a magical moment, but it was an experience. So it was an amazing story, but it was a story, and I had all of your attention as you looked in and leaned in, and that's what you're looking for from your customers. Whenever you're on social or putting anything out, you're looking for that kind of engagement. So for you to be able to unlock that, what is it going to be able to take those moments that we talked about and we identified, that you even said you found several moments in there, in those actual adventurous, funny moments. What is it for you to be able to start crafting those stories? Well, to create a great story, you need to know what you have and your value for your business. You also need to know what makes you unique. That's why I stepped through all that we already did here. You need to get feedback from people. Nobody wants to do business with a business that doesn't listen. In fact, if anything, say thank you for a good review. 97% of businesses do not say thank you for a good review. They go directly to the negative ones and interact with them. 97%. So if you want to stand out head and shoulders above your competition, if you want to go to that top 3% that actually say thank you, then do that. Just say thank you for a good review. It's never too late to say thank you. And then also think of the words that you want people to introduce you with, that you want to get known for. Are they showing up on your site? What are the words that people search for you? Really know your customer well and know their decision journey. As you set those goals, that'll help you. I'm very much a goal setter. I told you I'm super regimented, so I love goals, smart goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. But then also know your customer's journey. You really need to understand it. So when we do know that journey, when we do have that story that connects with the journey, now you have good connection, which is really exciting. Again, it just resonates with them. So 3 secrets to telling a story, all right? Because I've been practicing them here or modeling them here for you as we went through every story that I told you. Number 1 is no one's listening to your story. They could care less. They're looking to see how they fit into your story. How does that resonate with me? When have I had that experience? Oh, I've done that before. I know there have been other times with 3 boys in tow, with 2, one on my hand and hip, 1 in my arm, and 1 falling behind me, that I've locked things much more than just recently. But when you think about that, what's your story? Maybe you've experienced that too. Maybe that's why you got in the business. When we invented the dog product, we did it because our dogs were spending all day long by themselves, and they didn't have a way to let themselves out. So we saw that we needed a solution and invented it and thought maybe other people in our same situation needed that solution. Let me go back here. You also need to get emotional. Start right into the emotion of what happened. So I took you into the emotion of, we were doing this, it was overwhelming, we'd just been to a funeral. I took you exactly where we were at, and bring that also. Bring that animation. When I say I lock the perimeter, I do that. I lock the perimeter. I go to every window and double check exactly what's going on. So I go through all those physical actions too. But then also know that stories do, when they hit the emotional level, when people can see themselves in that story, now they connect, and it really goes to the subconscious, which is where you hope to be, because at that level, when people know, like, and trust you, there's amazing things that you can do and grow your business. And as I said, we'll talk about that later this afternoon when we actually talk about the 18 people that you need to know and how you need to interact with them. So remember the moments that we covered, those 4 moments: the difficult or challenging moment, the defining moment, the funny moment or the adventurous moment. Those are the 4 moments that you can start crafting those stories that started to pop up in your head, those names. In fact, if anything today, even if you're having a hard time wrapping your mind around, oh, am I going to be able to tell a story like that or put that story together, just put a person's name down. When you see it, you'll think, oh my gosh, that's Janie. Yeah, with Janie, I know that's the story. So you're just going to see their name and it'll come to you because you know your story is better than anybody else. So it truly is an adventure and a journey. And as I tell you, for example, today, when you're introducing and talking to people, you have a great opportunity today to meet a lot of people who know and influence a little over 350 people each. That's big. So I take networking events seriously. I never go just to go snack or go get coffee and just talk about the weather and be a conversation searching for a topic. I go with very specific information of what it is that I want to tell them, share with them, and also what I want to listen for. Now for you might meet some people today who do this. Hey, my name's Maria Elena Duron. I'm property and casualty insurance agent, and I can help insure your home, your recreational vehicle, your vacation home, even your children's cars, and you can call me at 555-1212. How many of us are going to think that's memorable and exciting? That connect with you? But now, maybe I say, and again, this takes about 30 seconds to do this, 15 seconds if you get really good at doing this, because you, again, that's a big challenge. You know yourself best. It's cutting it down into bite-sized chunks that can work on social, that can also work when you're connecting with people. So for example, let's say, hi, my dad, I was 8 years old, and we got a knock on the door. It was a family that had their house just burned down in the neighborhood. And they came to bring a basket to my dad to thank him for coming in and insuring their house and putting all that together. So even though there was no loss of life, the stress and the loss for them wasn't as terrible as it could be. It was at that moment that I knew I wanted to be an insurance agent and protect people when they needed it, when things were happening that they did not want to happen. My name's Maria Elena Duron, 555-1212. Much different where we're coming in at. Much different the feel too, because you're taking them now on a journey. You're not just telling them. You've all heard the old adage, facts tell, stories sell. So you see what I did as I used the 5-year-old storyline when I did that. I've told all my stories today using that 5-year-old storyline, but I haven't told you the prompt that sits in my head, and that is what I'm doing next. Number 1 is once upon a time. Once upon a time, I was 8 years old, there was a knock on the door. Okay? I was going to a funeral on Friday, once upon a time, or Saturday. I was going to a funeral on Saturday. Or we started a business back in 2008, once upon a time. Okay? So think of your once upon a times. Then there was the turn, right? It was the suddenly. Suddenly this happened. There was a knock on the door. We had to go. We had to move. We had to be somewhere. We saw growth. We saw digital marketing growing. So those were all the suddenlies. Again, you're going to practice this in your head to get really good at it, but you'll then drop the once upon a time suddenly. And then, luckily, this happened. Now, if you don't have your own stories yet, go to your customers, right? Think about when you helped them be Clark Kent and then turn to Superman. So they went and made that transition because of you. You supported them. And then happily ever after. This is what happened next. This is the end of the story and how it really did help your customer get to that next level. You really supported them. Once upon a time, suddenly, luckily, happily ever after. That is what I use for the 5-year storyline, and I use it for all our YouTube videos. I use it for all the reels that we do. I use it in shorter or longer form, depending on the format that I'm using. LinkedIn, has the new one now, Jump Rope. So Jump Rope is LinkedIn's version of TikTok, so that's coming out soon. And you're going to see and have that ability to do that next. Okay? So understanding that once upon a time, suddenly, luckily, happily ever after, and getting good at that is going to help you feel better organized. Whenever I'm working with a team and they're going to have to do their stories on video, I tell them, listen, we're going to edit whatever you need to out, but you're going to start with this in your head. Once upon a time, suddenly, luckily, happily ever after. When I was talking to that real estate agent who had the horse come out, I said, okay, I want you to start with that story because that's a good story. That's a funny story. We can bring that in, but once upon a time, suddenly, luckily, happily ever after in your head. Get to the happily ever after, what happened and how you sold that ranch. Once we get there, we'll edit, cut, and then get it to the right format for every single platform and be able to pull different pieces out. You can do the same too. What's so nice is these things are amazing at being able to be a photo and a full video studio, right? They're just perfect for that. So first, though, to be able to tell a good story, you have to be able to relive the experience. So you have to take them through that. One of the things that you don't want to do, especially to any adult, not just adult learners, any adult, is to say, okay, I'm going to tell you a story. Because immediately, they have tuned off now. They've all gone to their phones to see what the latest email message or text is that came in, or who just posted on TikTok. And one minute you say, I'm going to tell you a story. So I never said that to you, I'm going to tell you a story. I dropped you right into the story, into the action. 8 years old. There was a funeral, we need to go. It was 2008, we created a pet product. This is what we need to do. I dropped you right into the action, okay? The best storytellers go back to that moment. Take them to the moment where you do align with and understand and show your customers that you understand who they are. Then also saturate the senses. I said it was overwhelmed. We were frustrated. We were trying to figure things out. We were confused. Using all words like that takes them into the feeling. Again, those feelings, when we enact and actually connect with the feelings, now makes it more engaging. And then, of course, that makes it more vivid when we can do that. Right? So as you look at things, we are a very visual society, right? We like all of the senses, though, if you can engage them all. So when I say somebody's auditory, when you can engage it in sound, when you can engage it in visual, kinesthetic, they have to actually touch, feel, auditory, they have to smell it, right? So if you can help them with that, now they have a chance to actually formulate it in their mind, and you take the space in their mind. And if you ever look at some people's definition of branding, you'll hear that it is the space that you take up in your customer's mind. So today you're going to be going through a lot of things. You'll talk about how to make video. I saw some of the sessions from that, which is really, really exciting, because in your video concepts, then you also need to look at different things like who's the star of the actual video. So whenever I'm training people on YouTube and how to use it, that's always important. You want to know how people are going to feel at the end of the video. What do you want them to feel? Anxious or mad, excited, happy, feeling empowered? What's the feeling that you want? You always have to have a call to action. So think about, now that you've got your story, what's the call to action? What is it that you want them to do? You have to put that there. That's our job as business people, is to put the call to action. Don't just hope your customer's going to get it. While hope is wonderful to have, it's a poor strategy. Okay? So think about what your call to action needs to be. And are you the star, or is the product the star? I just was working with an entire communication team that was talking about the owner of the business, and they really crafted everything. They did a new product. It was a Kickstarter. So they were launching it on Kickstarter, but they went all into about the actual inventor. And I explained to them, that's great to have because people in Kickstarter want to see that, but first they want to know about the invention. Make the product the star first. The product has to be the center because they're going to want to know that. Doesn't matter if Blake is great until they know exactly what the product is and how it works, how it functions, and how it makes a difference, and how it's unique. You also should look at Google Trends. So as you know your product and you know your customers and you know what makes you unique, I'm building foundation. This is the not sexy part of marketing. A lot of people come to marketers and they'll say, all right, I want the silver bullet. Tell me how to make Twitter work. Tell me how to make LinkedIn work. Well, it's not like that. It is consistent, persistent action. It's the not sexy part. So one of the areas is Google Trends. How many of you use Google Trends? Show of hands. All right. Any brave soul want to share how they use Google Trends? See, I like to use it whenever I'm coming into a town. Because when I use Google Trends when I'm coming to a town, now I know exactly what's going on and what's top of mind. So what Google Trends does, it lets everybody know when you look at trends, how many people in that area, you can get specific as area, you can get specific as the last 4 hours, what they've been searching for on Google. Well, when I was flying into Oklahoma City to speak to a group there, I flew in, and immediately my Lyft driver picked me up, and I thought, okay, I'm going to look and see what's happening on Google Trends. And they were talking about, in Oklahoma City, Ariana Grande. And I thought, why are we talking about Ariana Grande in Oklahoma City? So I had to ask my Lyft driver, I said, why is Ariana a big thing? And he said, oh, because she sold out. She sold out the Coliseum downtown, so they've had to reroute everything in Bricktown, where all the hotels are and all the restaurant row is. And now it's a big mess for everybody as they're trying to park this morning. I said, that's great. See, now I know. Now when I'm standing in front of you, I can say, how many of you were just running from the parking lot? You're just like, oh my gosh, I found a space and I can finally get in the convention center now. Because I looked at Google Trends. You can do that as well. We were working with a pizza owner, and that's one of the things that I loved is he actually had the opportunity to look at Google Trends to even understand his customers. He thought that lowering prices are going to be the best thing for him to do to grow his business and maybe putting more specialty pizzas in. So he thought a pineapple pizza would be amazing, but unfortunately, no. He was not in Hawaii. What people were searching in his areas was local farm-to-table vegetables. So they weren't looking for pineapples, they were looking for their local farms. So he made a decision that on Wednesdays and Thursdays, he would highlight that he does highlight the veggies from Miss Mary's Farm or Miss Agatha's Bread, and he's able to promote and show and share in what people are already searching. He's fishing where the fish are. They're already looking for that. So at Google Trends, that's one of the things I like to do is look and see, because if I can look and see what people are searching to find a competitor, now maybe I can get some of those eyeballs looking at us. Instead of me trying to have to go over here where nobody's looking and convince them with a lot of time, energy, and money to come over here, I can now go where everybody's at, and I can say, listen, this is how we address this. One of the veterinarians in Corpus Christi, Texas, that's what he did. He went on to Google Trends, and he saw that people were searching for the cheapest veterinarian in Corpus Christi. He wasn't the cheapest, but what he did do is lots of videos and reels that said, we're not the cheapest in town, but we are the best because we treat your animal like family, we treat your dog like this. So he went through the reasons and exactly why people do business with him. He took advantage of the fact that all the eyeballs were looking for the cheapest veterinarian in Corpus Christi. Now, another little trick that I'll share with you before I leave the stage is if you search yourself, search your name, toggle all the way to the bottom, search your name, so look for here, or wherever you're located. If you're in Omaha, that's fine too, but search your name and your location. So your actual business name, way to the bottom of the first page, you will see what's also being searched at that moment. Those are rising terms. That means that's what people are looking at right now. And Google is telling you, if you're wondering, what do I post today? What do I do? Hopefully it matches with the words that people are using in their search. This is part of our job, being experts in our customer. So today, who is it that you want to meet? Who are you going to connect with? How are you going to get to know them? The reason I bring this up is because networking always, to me, is very important. I have not stopped networking, even though we have a digital marketing agency, and I can do all the business online. But I know the value of interacting and listening to people. I know, like this, in a group like this here at MarkeTech, all those things you talked about a while ago when I first started, that you wanted to get, you can get from connecting and getting to know people here. Later on this afternoon, I'm going to be talking about connections that convert. And a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is the right traffic that you can get to your site. During the breakout session today, I will be talking about how you can use Google Maps and search, because you need to show up in Google. And if you're not using your Google business profile and actively posting or utilizing the Q&A or utilizing the free website that's available there to you to help you have more visibility, more horses in the race to me are good. So even though you have a website, there's nothing wrong with having other sites, because if all 10 searches are, let's say it's your website, your blog, it's you doing a ribbon cutting with the Chamber of Commerce, and then over here it's your LinkedIn profile, it's your Facebook profile, and then maybe it's a blog post that you did, and it's all about you. You have now elevated yourself. Not only that you're doing business and you are actively doing business, but you are an expert in your field. And even if we all only have a beer budget, we have champagne dreams and a beer budget, and we still want the best person, the expert, to be able to work with. So for today, know that as you put your list together, because I'll be asking you all day long about your list, and then when we conclude today at the end, connections that convert, I'm going to be talking about being accountable to your list. But that is knowing that knowledge is not power. I'm not a believer of that at all, because it needs to be applied. And there are several people who are very knowledgeable but have no idea to apply it. Now, I put my website there if you do need help in how to apply it. But I do want to wish you much success today as you go through MarkeTech, as you get to know people, as you start to craft your story, and as you start to listen to people, especially if you find people who could be good potential customers. Because today we have this great opportunity to learn together There's a lot of good social media management that's going to be happening too, social media training, but then also video training. I saw a lot of that going on, and then also to hear from other people, because OPE, other people's experience, is much, much more valuable than other people's money. I can take other people's experience without having to put the sweat and time to be able to do that. So you have that great chance today, and I want to thank you. Thank you, Janelle, for having me here, and thank you for your attention today, because I look forward to hearing how everybody learns, and you're going to see me networking all day long as I learn a little bit more about you and your business. Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you, Janelle. She rocked it, didn't she? Oh my goodness, woo! She did not disappoint, and I'm so pleased she's going to be here all day. So, and she's got her son with her that's taking some, so Justin will wave, so we're excited to have both of them. Now we have a networking break till 9:45, and we'll start our first breakout. So it's your time, take what we just learned, which was a lot of great stuff. Network and make some connections. Thank you.